So this video breaks down how I went from corporate job to making the best outreach on earth. Exactly how I've been able to get to this point. So I had a bunch of people say, okay, how did you even get here? Who are you? Which is very, very fair because you guys have no idea who the hell I am. So let me explain. So my name is Dan James, and I was able to scale a content agency from 0 to 30K a month with these methods that I break down on my YouTube videos. And now I have an offer all around doing this for other people. And I routinely create the most ridiculous outreach for people ever. And here's an example, and there's a bunch of examples below in the description in my collection of social proof deck that you'll find there. So let's get in full of how I was able to do this, okay? So I actually started and failed a business in 2016. So that was my first ever business that I started. There was one in camping. And this business was so pivotal because it gave me that bug all around creating businesses, starting offers. I didn't even know what an offer was at the time. And I remember I was straight in university, and I was like, okay, cool. I need to make money. I need to learn how this all worked because I just knew that corporate job didn't appeal to me at all. And although I had very little success, I got that business bug, and I'm forever grateful for that business. But then, like most people in business, you make no fucking money. So I tried that business, made a little bit of money, but nothing that could sustain me. So I got a corporate job in 2020, and I had to get a job, especially because my business just wasn't bringing enough money. And I did the whole corporate thing, etc. And then this led to like almost the lost years of struggle and wanting more. So I started my second business in 2021. So whilst working, I decided to start another business as I knew I wanted more from working. I never really, how do I phrase this? Identified with the 9-to-5 corporate life, and there's nothing wrong with the 9-to-5. I'm not one of those people who personally shits on it. I think it just depends on what you want for your life. I didn't want it for my life. And then again, I'm struggling to scale in 2021. So I'm doing everything that I can to scale, but I'm just shit at business. I'm just bad at business. Like the example I use is learning a language. If someone's trying to learn French, after the first month of French, unless you're a polyglot or something, you're probably gonna be pretty shit at French. I am terrible at languages. So for me to learn French, I've got to move to Paris. And then I'm still probably going to be bad at it. And I was just bad at the language of business. And I was just very green and wasn't very good at it. So the business failed in 2022. And it's actually hilarious. When it says failed, it really just means you gave up. Like you just gave up on the business. But whilst this is happening, I'm becoming increasingly more pissed off at my job in 2022. So I'm like, why? Why am I doing this job? I know I'm destined for more. I know I can attack this business thing. And then I gave up on business entirely, to be honest with you. I just traveled the world from February 2022 and January 2024. So I'm going to this country, going to that country, and I had a blast, to be honest with you. And it was fun to be able to travel. But I knew in the bottom of my heart that this would not sustain me, and this is not what was going to work in the long term. I knew that I actually had to be able to scale my business and do the things that I always dreamt of doing. So then I pushed myself to keep trying, okay? So here I started my third business. Honestly, it might have even been my fourth business, and I stopped caring about my job in 2024 completely. Around 2023, 2024, I ended up working at this big old company called Deloitte years before, and I'm at Deloitte, and I'm doing the whole software engineering thing, and I am not caring about it. I did not care. And I'm thinking, I've got to learn how to scale this business. I've got to learn how to actually make money from this. This is not what I want to do in the long term. So I poured everything into my business each and every day. And my former employer noticed my poor performance. And they were kind of like, you're not that great at this job. And to their credit, I wasn't. I really wasn't buckling down. I really wasn't trying as hard as I could because I was thinking to myself, I need to make this business work. I need to make this business work. And frankly, I have no qualms. I have no issues with my former employer. You can see in July 2024, they were like, we're going to release you. And I was like, I do not blame you. Business is going to work regardless. And that led to the next big step. So around this time, I was already thinking to myself, I really want this online business thing to work. I want to be able to pour all my eggs into this basket. I know I can make it work. Let me just fucking go for it. So I packed all my bags in August 2024. And I moved to Indonesia, and I just locked myself in an apartment for a year and until I made money. But the first 7 months was a complete struggle. And of course I wanted to give up, but because I had no other, I had nothing to fall back on, and my ego was in play. I was like, I've got to make it work. And of course it did. And then I decided to start investing in lots of different programs. So I invested in Client Ascension, which is Daniel Fazio's program, amongst other things. And I'm a bull in a china shop. I'm just looking for anything to get an edge. And then I got stuck into Client Ascension, and I just got stuck into my business. So I started learning very, very quickly. So I'm absorbing everything I can. I'm learning sales. I'm learning about all the different things that are going on in business. I'm learning about funnels. I'm learning about marketing. I'm learning about offers. I'm learning about conversion windows. I'm learning about cash conversion windows. I'm learning about lifetime gross profit. I am just absorbing like a freak. But it's hilarious because I'm doing all this work and I'm still making no money. So I'm saying to myself, there must be something fundamentally wrong, but there's a delay behind everything good in life. A good relationship takes time. A nice body takes time to build. Whatever you want is always a time delay behind it. And I just kept saying that to myself. And then I got tons of feedback from the sales coach, and I'm just starting to like get better. I'm starting to get better and better and better. And then in August 2025, my business exploded. And this was one of the most pivotal moments probably in my entire life, because it highlighted that this entire online business thing was real. To be honest with you, I almost felt like it was a scam and it wasn't real. Which is kind of hilarious because I rooted my whole life on this belief that I could make it work. But lo and behold, it started to work. So 8.5 in August, 16.5, 27.5, 32.5. And naturally I had the fluctuations, and here's me talking to one of my mentors about it, and him and I are loving life, and there's just me going crazy over it. But the key thing is that in order to sign all these clients, I was utilizing very aggressive outreach methods to do the work. So here, I made like a super loom. I made a super video for a CRO, Dan Crowley, and it worked super, super well. And then I just continue to utilize very aggressive, low leverage outreach methods for people. And here you can see people saying it really made the top 2 of the best outreach I've ever gotten. And I just kept getting messages like this over and over and over and over again. Even this guy here, he became a client as well. And I think the interesting thing is that I started to notice that my outreach was doing all the work for me. And that's what the big benefit, and that's what the big opportunity was. Awesome. So then I said to myself, okay, let me go all in on my outreach methods, because every single time that I would go onto LinkedIn, someone would be saying to me, yo, your outreach is crazy. Your outreach is amazing. How much does it cost to do this? And I was getting it like multiple times a day. And I was like, why don't I just make an offer around all of this? And the key thing is for me is that the only way that I was able to scale my business was by doing things that other people weren't doing. So now I think it's important, especially with AI, to do that for other people. And that's what I honestly and truly want to do. And that's what I feel like my calling is. And that's how I've been able to go from corporate employee to having a successful business. It was essentially multiple years of trial, error, blood, sweat, and tears until I was able to actually do the things I want to do, and I was able to scale and hit the markers I've been looking for. So yeah, that's my story in full. Now, watch this video where I explain how you can sign well clients, because ultimately that's what it's all about. And I'll see you for that one. Bye now.